Today's true crime Bible case comes from 1 Kings chapter 13. 1 Kings chapter 13. When we're reading stories in the Bible, it is very matter of fact. We know exactly who's telling the truth. We know exactly who's telling a lie. And we are given a glimpse into the private lives of perpetrators. We see it all. And when this is a missing person case in the Bible, if this case were to play out in today's society, it would be very hard to get to the truth because you would have to uncover layer upon layer upon layers of lies. And in this missing person case, we know exactly what happened. We know all of the facts. And so, if you have a friend or family member who has been missing, I pray that this missing person case will bring a new lens to look at your current case, to get truth, to get the real facts regarding your case. Now, this missing person case, we're going to approach this as like we're detectives, okay? And it's being played out in today's society. We don't know the name of the missing person. We just know that he's a man. He is a man. His friends and family are missing him. There's a huge absence. There's a huge hole in people's lives. And we know that he is from Judah. This man, we don't know if he's married. We don't know if he has kids. But we know that he went away. He went into the town of Bethel on a business trip. And he never returned back home to Judah. And so if we were to investigate this case and go back to Bethel and find out, who interacted with him, who had conversations with him, where was he last seen, we would find that there were two different individuals who had interactions with this man. You see, this man was a prophet, and he was going away to Bethel to preach. And when he preached, he also performed this huge miracle. And this is the first man that we encounter as we're doing our investigation. We find that this man says, I came across this Judean prophet, this prophet from Judah, and he healed my hand. In fact, I was trying to reward him to tell him how much how much I appreciated him doing what he did. But he was very firm on this. He said that when he was here, that he was not to eat or drink with anybody here. And the way that he came into Bethel, he would have to take a different route to go back home to Judah. He was very adamant about that. The second person that we would come across that actually had conversations with this Judean prophet he was a prophet himself. In fact, he said, I saw him. In fact, I went to go help him. I had heard that on his way out, leaving the town of Bethel to go back home, he was in trouble. He was dead on the side of the road. A lion had mauled him. And I actually went and got his body, and I took care of all the funeral arrangements. I gave him my burial plot. I had interactions with him. In fact, if the family wants to come and have his body exhumed, they're welcome to. They can come and get his body. And so from that investigation, we would think, well, case closed. We got the body. We know exactly what happened. It was a wild animal, a lion, who had killed him. this is it. Case closed. But this isn't the entire truth. When we go back and look at those two people who had interactions with this Judean prophet, and we would corroborate, see if their what they were saying was true. We would talk to other people and say, is this conversation true? We talked to people of the second person. Was this conversation true? We would see if there was corroboration with what these two men were saying. And we would find with the first person who came in contact with the Judean prophet was actually the king, King Jeroboam. And we would find that everything that he said, the conversations that he said were true. Everything that he said was true. It was 100% truthful. But the second individual, the other prophet, the older prophet, the prophet from Bethel, there was a corroboration, but if you dig deeper, you would find that he wasn't telling the entire truth. There were lies. And when you find out the real truth about the second individual, the prophet from Bethel, the older prophet, you will find that he came seeking the Judean prophet. You see, that big miracle that the Judean prophet had performed in town, where everybody saw and healing the king's hand, I mean, that was big news. It was spreading like wildfire. And the sons of the older prophet were there. They witnessed all of it. They witnessed the conversation that the Judean prophet had with the king about, no, I can't eat or drink with you. I have to take a different route back home. Those sons of the elder prophet knew all of that. They were eyewitnesses to that event. And they were the ones who came back and told their dad about, you won't believe what happened in town. And so the older prophet went and tried to find the Judean prophet. The Judean prophet was already on his way back home. And he found him. He found him, and he was trying to get him to come back home with him and to dine with him. And he already knew that the Judean prophet was very adamant about this was not what he was supposed to do on this business trip. And he was already trying to figure out a way in which he was going to talk the Judean prophet into doing this on his business trip. And he did. You see, this older prophet, he lied. Why did he lie? He lied to the Judean prophet not to avoid consequences, but to purposefully create a storm for the Judean prophet. When he asked the Judean prophet, come and dine with me, the Judean prophet said no. And then the older prophet goes further. He says, I'm a prophet just like you. In fact, I found out that the business orders that you were given on this business trip have changed. You can dine with us. You can dine with me. It's perfectly safe. And so the Judean prophet goes back home and dines with him. And after this, after he eats with him, then he leaves and goes back home. But on his way back home, that is when he is met with a lion, and the lion kills him. And so this older prophet hears about this, that this man is lying on the side of the road, dead. And he goes back, and he gets the man, the Judean man, the Judean prophet, and then buries him. has this funeral for him in his own burial plot. So you're talking about this older prophet is phony in everything that he does. He is a phony prophet. Yes, he's a prophet by name, but this is the epitome of the false prophets that we hear about in the Old Testament and in the New Testament. They put on a good show. They have the right kind of language. They are going to have this, show this perception that they care about others, but they only care about themselves. They're in it for them self-seeking interest. He shows this phony hospitality. And in the end, he shows this phony mourning. And he shows the victim's family a phony resolution. So we know all the facts about this case. What can we possibly learn from this missing person case? There's two things that we can learn from today's missing person case. The first thing is that some missing persons do not stem from true crime. This Judean prophet was killed by a wild animal, a lion. This lion had killed him, but was still there, standing beside his body, and had not totally dismembered the body. The body was still recognizable. But that was the reason why this missing person never returned back home, because he was killed by a wild animal. The second thing that we can learn from this missing person case is remember the friends and family members of the suspects. The two suspects in this missing person case were the two people who had interactions with this Judean prophet, King Jeroboam and the older prophet. Those two men had interactions. They were suspects. And if you would have to look deeper and deeper, but if you've looked, you would see that the sons of the older prophet knew exactly what their dad was doing. Their dad did the stuff in front of them. They knew that he was out seeking the Judean prophet and ensnaring the Judean prophet, creating this lie to create a storm for this Judean prophet to get him off course. He was on his right course. He was on his way home. He was safe. And then this older prophet inserted himself into the life of this innocent, truthful, wonderful, godly prophet. And you would never get the truth from this older prophet. You never would. Because you can read this case, he lies upon lies upon lies. And you would never get the truth about what he did to this Judean prophet. But you might get the truth from the sons. The sons knew what their dad was doing. The sons knew all about what their dad was doing. And so that would be a way to get the truth behind this missing person case. This case, when I read this case, it is such a stark contrast from the story of the Good Samaritan. I've already done a story of the Good Samaritan, almost to John Doe, on this true crime devotional series, and I'll put that video at the end of this one. But the person, the help for that man who was lying half dead on the road, the person who helped him in every way imaginable. Now, he was still living, okay? He was the result of a true crime. And he helped him to safety. And this help that helps this man, this Judean prophet, now he was already dead, but he did a phony help, a phony mourning. He was the one who was crying the loudest. He was the one that was showing like he was so remorseful. And he was not even remorseful for the storm that he created for this Judean prophet, this lie that he concocted to this Judean prophet to get him off course. After hearing that this Judean prophet had died on his way home from a lion, you would think he would be so guilty, like feeling so guilty. You know, if I hadn't lied to this guy, he would be home and be safe and be with his family. And you know what? His body, I'm going to take his body to his family. And I'm going to be truthful. I'm going to tell them what had happened. Because if I never told my lie, he would never be on that path to go home in which the lion would be there at that exact moment. And he would be battling with guilt. He would be so remorseful to the victim's family and to turn the body over to the family members to let them know what had happened. The 100% truth. But he doesn't. If you have a friend or family member who has been missing, let me encourage you to read 1 Kings chapter 13, because you may see something that I didn't see. And I pray that this will bring a fresh new lens to your case. That is my spiritual food for you to munch on the rest of the week. I can't wait to see you next time.